Hello and welcome to this course where you'll be learning how to make a full ball wedding gown with just 7 yards. Yes, I said it, just 7 yards. And trust me, yes, this is possible. And that's what we're about to learn in this course. My name is Omolola Akonji. I'm the lead instructor at Losodium Design School. You might want to follow us up on Instagram. All right, and I would be your trainer throughout this course. It's a short course, and I hope that by the end of this training you'll have learned how to make a ball gown without having to break the bank. Okay, so in this class we've broken it down into 4 modules. I have it right here in my notes. And then the first module, where we talk about the introduction to the ball gown, the different type of ball gowns, and the course overview generally. Then the essential tools and materials that you would be needing to make your ball gown. Then module 2 will talk about the measurements required to make your ball gown. Module 3 is where we start cutting, and then the layout process, of course the cutting technique as well. And then module 4 we talk about stitching, and then the petticoat and hoop skirt. Okay, so make sure you don't miss any parts. Let's get right into it. All right, so this is module 1, and we'll be doing a course overview generally, talking about a ball gown. So what is a ball gown? From the word ball. When you see ball, what comes to mind is like something that is big, and it gives that round fullness, that round effect. And this is one thing that's been used in the bridal construction of bridal dresses. Working a lot with silhouette. Silhouette is like the shape or structure of a thing. So one of the silhouettes in the bridal wedding dresses is the ball gown, which is what we'll be addressing in this course. Now, there are different kinds of ball gown. We have the one that comes with pleats on the waistline. We have the one that doesn't come with pleats on the waistline. We have the one that comes with a train, an extended train. So a train together with the actual ball. Not like you already wore your ball gown, then you're not adding a train to it. No, it comes together. I'll probably attach a picture here for you to see. So that is one. We also have the one that is just a circle ball gown. Maybe you can call it a single circle, a double circle, triple circle ball gown. Okay, but in this particular class, what we'll be talking about, there's also a panel ball gown. So but in this particular class, what we'll be talking about is a circle ball gown. Okay, and how to achieve that with just 7 yards. I mean the whole wedding dress. I don't mean just the lower part alone, the whole wedding dress with just 7 yards. No, your bridal designer has not been duping you, no, but you get to know more about it in this when we talk about the bridal ball gown. And I mentioned before that you have the single circle, the double circle, and then all of these are from the construction process, are from your basics of how to cut a circle skirt. Really, that's for the basic, how to cut your circle skirt. Okay, and that is what we'll be using in cutting this ball gown with just 7 yards. Okay, and then this ball gown that we are doing is not going to have an extended train. So maybe like the length gets down to the floor, and then it also extends to the back, like as an extra length. That's not what we are doing in this class. What we are doing fully is a very full ball gown that most brides would rock on their wedding day, and you can achieve with just 7 yards. So if you're achieving with just 7 yards, you know that, okay, let me calculate the budget. How much am I going to spend? I won't need to break the bank. All right, so while we are talking about achieving a ball gown with 7 yards, it is important for us to also talk about fabrics. So I might not exactly dive very deep into fabrics, but there are different bridal fabric types. I'll give an example I'll use satin as an example. Satin is a very wide family. Satin is a family name, really. So don't just, when someone says, oh, I want a wedding gown and I need you to give me I need it in satin. Satin is just a family name. You need to break it down. What kind of satin? Is it Mikado? Is it silk? Is it Excellence? Is it Duchess? All of these are under the family of satin. Okay, and then it is more for you to also note that there is also tulle, the net like fabric. So that also is a type of fabric that you can use for your ball gown. You also have chiffon. So there are a lot of fabrics. You also have organza, organdy. All of these can be used, but in this class we'll be working with satin. Okay, all our explanation will be done with satin. Now, when we boil it down to satin, it is important for you to know that there are different fabrics under satin that have different lengths. So, but the two major lengths you will see in the market is when your fabric, the length of your fabric is by 60 inches, and then you have another length by 120 inches. So that's like double. We'll most likely call that double length. But the thing there is that most of the time, you always have, it's only on rare cases that you see brides that are not on a budget, like I'm willing to spend a lot of money. But most of the time you see that people are like, oh, okay, let's just work within this range, let us work within this budget. And because you want to make something very nice and decent that still looks like a one in town kind of dress, you want to ensure that you are maximizing everything that you were given. So the money they paid you, you want to ensure you maximize it to still give them their dream dresses. So the 120 inches fabric, it's kind of on the pricey side compared to the 60 inches fabric. This is because, of course, you already know how the market runs. Something that is not common and has a high demand would definitely be expensive. That's how the market runs. All right. So, but that means that as at now that you're watching this video, a 120-inch Mikado fabric is around 12,000 naira or 15,000 naira per yard for 1 yard. So imagine if you are making a gown that you need to make, okay, let's even say 7 yards, for example. Calculate how much that is going to be on the satin alone. You've not even talked about the underskirt, the hoop skirt, the embellishment, the lace. So that's going to take a lot of money. But most of the time, bridal designers have a secret as to how to do this thing. And that is what I'm about to review to you in this class. So if you're watching this, you're in this class already, congratulations. I'm so excited that you took the decision to be a part of this class, and you'll be receiving that secret for free. All right, so this secret is that they can still achieve a full ball gown without having to buy a 120 inches fabric. Same way, if you are making a ball gown with train and it's not a detachable train, it's a full gown, still with the same 60 inches length of fabric. Already, take for example that you are making something that from the waist to the floor at the back is already about 150 inches long. You already know your 60 inches length of fabric cannot achieve that. All right, so same thing even with this ball gown. We already know that it's 60 inches length. And if you are very familiar with how to cut your circle, which we would also talk about in this class, you know that there's a part of the radius that you take off from that same 60 inches length. So it means that what you have to work with is not even 60 inches. Where your circumference will be for your waistline, we're still going to remove some part for the radius, which will reduce your length. Depending on how big your waistline is, it could be that you're removing up to like 4 inches or 5 inches. So if you're removing 5 inches from 60 inches, that's 55. And let's take it that the length of your gown is more than that. All right, so but let me not say a lot. In this class, we would be learning more about that. All right, so let's move to the next topic. So before we move on, let me quickly talk about the essential ball gown style. It is important for you to know that not all ball gowns can be cut with 7 yards. Okay, but you can actually make a basic ball gown with 7 yards. But not all ball gowns can be cut with 7 yards. So for example, if there's a lot of pleats on your waistline, you might not be able to use 7 yards, or you might need to use more than 7 yards. But we are saying that the least fabric you can use for a ball gown and it will still give you a good result is 7 yards. Okay, and then like I said earlier in the first few videos, I said that we have ball gowns that come with an extended train. You definitely need more than 7 yards for that. You have ball gowns that are very full. They get to the floor length, but they are very full, so you might need more than 7 yards for that. However, quite a wide range of waistlines can still work with 7 yards. And even some, if your waistline is not so big, maybe just on the average measurement, you can still work with 7 yards, even if you're going to have pleats on the waistline. So you might want to ask me, okay, how will I know my waistline is this inches or this centimeter? How would I know if 7 yards will work for me? While we are cutting and we are explaining the cutting process, you would be able to know that, okay, I think that 7 yards can still work for me, or I don't think 7 yards can work for me. So you get to see all of that. But trust me, I think even with the pleats, you can you can still work with the 7 yards, just increase it. Whatever we do here, you can also use it to cut a double circle ball gown, a triple circle ball gown, and the likes. All right, so let me tell you some of the materials that you'll be needing or tools you'll be needing. You don't need a lot, okay? You just need your scissors, your cutting tools, your measuring tools, your scissors, your chalk so that you can write down on the fabric. You also need your measuring tape. Preferably you could use the 120 inches tape. Ideally, if you're a bridal designer, you should have a 120 inches tape. It cannot be negotiated. You should have. But if you don't have a 120 inches tape, for the purpose of this class, you can still work with your 60 inches. I might still be working with 60 inches in this class, or even working with the 120 inches. So I said you need your scissors and just any other basic cutting or sewing tools that you would normally use as a fashion designer. All right, so let's move to the cutting, the explanation, and then the layout.